What's going on? It's Jadez09 coming at you with some Gran Turismo Sport gameplay on Dragon Trail. This is a daily race, the Gr.4 spec, and I'm coming at you with the Nissan GTR. I qualified in 6th place, so let's see how this goes here. Now, I did a lot of replays on this one. This is probably my favorite one so far this week. Had the least amount of drama, and we'll talk about that here in a second as this kicks off. But I want to mention, first of all, this is how I play the game. I'm playing the inside view using the steering wheel, and it's a lot of fun playing that way, but it comes with its own challenges. You know, you have peripheral view issues, and when somebody's right in front of you, that it becomes really hard to see when your turn is supposed to come up or when you're supposed to brake. So you got to work with that. But regardless, it's very rewarding when a race goes pretty good. You try to avoid drama whenever you can, but when you're in the group, when you're in the shit with everybody, you gotta get what you got. You know what I mean? I don't even fucking make sense. Whatever. So I'm coming at you right here. You see this Lancer right there, and I'm trying not to hit him. I'm trying not to break into him. So I stay on the left side. And you just all this crazy shit going on. Look, people bashing me, pushing me. This shit's crazy, man. It gets crazy. But I love Gran Turismo Sport's penalty system because it makes people behave when it matters most. You know, at the beginning of the race, I honestly, you know, you're gonna get that, but I kind of give the space to operate just to see what happens. You know, you gotta focus on your line, and if you're all up in everybody's shit, you can't really do that. Now that guy kind of braked in front of me, so I really didn't have time to react. But I try my best to not cause any drama. And these hatchbacks, they're not very good on the straight, so I get a little bit of a gainer right here, just getting right next to him, trying to get a good position for this brake coming up here, and he just overshoots it, and he goes flying into the wall, almost. Yep, I heard that. I'll be honest with you, I really don't like hatchbacks. They don't look cool, alright? They don't look cool. They're probably good for races or whatever. I would never buy one. Now coming into the second lap, finding the brake line, using that bumper. Now, why is the bumper so useful? I don't know, man. It's something about the traction on it, because when you play without the traction control, that bumper is a savior. It really helps you push the angle of attack on these corners. And when you get into a groove like right here, you can really just fly out of the corner. Boom! You see that? I love the way this race turned out to be, okay? Because it becomes a race for 2nd place, and that starts to develop around the 3rd lap here. Still trying to figure out when to brake there, because the Nissan GTR is actually surprisingly good on brakes, so I'm still trying to figure out when to brake on that corner so that I can smoothly turn on the corner there. Using those bumpers, trying my best not to slip out, but I'm starting to gain on the Brazilian here. And this corner right here is like a quadruple bank, not like a typical corner, because it kind of just comes and goes at you right here. And you want to be very consistent with your speed and really push off on those last 2 corners there. And me, I'm just a novice. I'm coming in, you know, as a CC. I used to be a CB when the week started, but this map has just been crazy, man. So much drama, people just murdering people left and right on those really sharp turns where they just bump into you and you fly off to the side, and it's like, well, what can you really do about it? If it happens to you, it happens to you, and you can rage quit, or you could just finish the race with what you got. And it kind of feels like you're wasting some time because you want to try to get a good race in, and that happened to me a few times already. So one thing you have to really focus on is your defensive driving too. Trying not to get hit by someone behind you. Someone's right behind you before that corner. You just gotta try your best to avoid them, and that's really all I can say about it. Now I'm actually catching up to the Brazilian here, and he has a penalty, and I don't know how much he's got on him, but he's gonna have to deal with that at some point. So here we are, hitting the 100-meter mark, braking. And I could have braked a little bit longer. I think that would have really helped me out right there with getting the right corner angle. But the Huracan is starting to gain some ground on us. And I really do enjoy these turns right here. They are a lot of fun when you get it just right. And Thankfully, though, this isn't the FIA races. This is just a daily race, and so you can be a little bit more aggressive using those bumpers to really help out with those corners there. And right about here is where you just want to gun it. You want to push so hard right here, and then I'm coming out. You just fly right out of that corner. I'm catching right up to the hatchback here. Instead of opting to get right behind him, my speed allowed me to maybe cut in a little bit. He played the defensive angle by cutting in really sharp right there to prevent me from moving up. But that's fine. I give it to him, but I'm right there with him. And now the Huracan's caught up. So this is where the race really starts. This is where all the fun starts to begin. Big props to the Canadian and the Brazilian in this race. They do a fantastic job at being courteous and showing respect. But we did this the whole time, and like from here on to the end of the match, it's just us three trying to battle for second place. It's a lot of fun when a race turns out that way. So I'm playing defensive right here. The Huracan's right behind me. He's pushing up, and I'm still trying to manage my way to get good angles on these turns without leaving some room for him to push out. And let's see how he makes his move right here. This is probably the most important corner in the game. If you get this right, it really gets the rest of the map going for you. But the Huracan nudged me ever so slightly right there on the turn, so he actually gets the better line there and gets right next to me. Now I can force the issue or I can back off a little bit, and that's kind of what I do right here. Give him some space to operate, put some pressure on him instead. Comes a quadruple bank coming in right here. He's pushing me a little bit right here. You can see it right there on the peripherals. But I'm staying aggressive, and I gotta say the GTR is very stable. There, move out of the way right here. That was I remember that reaction right there. I was like, oh, I just moved out of the way because I didn't want to bump into him. But both of them have penalties right here. And I take the inside line, and I kind of give them the same thing back right there. Just using that inside line to get it, but not really trying to do anything too aggressive. Still showing some respect there. So props to everybody involved there. But it allowed second place to get a little bit of ahead of us. Now right here, it becomes a balance that you have to figure out between throttle and turning. I'm still trying to get used to that, but I've managed to get around 140 for my qualifier. Or 1 minute and 40 seconds, and I'm happy with it, but I know I can do better than that if I get that part just right. Starting to gain here on the Brazilian, and still taking that inside line because again I'm trying to avoid hitting him, and I'm still trying to figure out the braking for the turn right there. Now it went pretty good, but I know that especially with the steering wheel, you want to try to keep the steering wheel as straight as you possibly can. You're going to have to turn, obviously, with the turn, but you only want to do as much as you need to so that you can really hit the throttle just right and get, without, maintaining your traction. So he messes up right here, and I nudge into him because I couldn't really avoid that. But now's when I really need to start making that move, and I come out of this corner right here very aggressive. His line is a little bit messed up, so I nudge him very slightly right there. I tried to avoid it, but it pushed him ahead. Now, right here, he takes his penalty, so I'm able to get right past him. And it's smooth sailing from this part if I could just hit this corner perfectly. And I just kind of pep the throttle a little bit right there, you understand, so I don't hit that bumper too heavy. And in the final straight, you see the Huracan right behind me. Finish it just like that. The lap times were very consistent, and I was happy with the way that race went overall. Not a lot of drama. Again, I was trying to avoid it, but it allowed for us to have a really good battle right there, so I'm happy with it. Now what I'll do here is I'll show you the GT Sport official replay from the other perspective so you can see it from the bird's eye view and all that fancy stuff, so stay tuned for that if you want to check it out.